ask you. I know what I gave you. Please tell me what you gave me. Now let me ask you.
Hello people, it's your boy Ambassador again doing this thing. So once again, we're on the New African Man podcast on Chakara TV. I think I've already given you guys a breakdown on what the whole concept is about. We just come around to have these conversations which are affecting the youth from an African perspective, and also the intention is that these are conversations which should be had in our homes, because when we have some of these conversations, we don't even know where our thoughts are with regards to certain topics, or why are we doing certain things, or what we think about certain things in our society. So it's good for us to start the conversation here, but the intention is that you pick it up at home and then in the comment section here. So today we're going to be talking with regards to does our educational system meet the need of the job market. So today I have here with me
Austin
and
Chari.
Okay, so I guess you guys have seen these faces before, and as usual, the tradition is we just ask first take. So what's your take on that subject?
I think I would be on the fence on this one.
Okay, for once you're on the fence, that's interesting. Okay, and you?
For the second time I'm going to be on the fence.
Okay. No, you like the fence.
I like the fence. You know, life is always...
You have good man tendencies. People like the fence.
People still the fence a lot.
People like the fence.
No, I never do.
Okay, so the both of them are on the fence today, and yeah, like with the girls, I agreed a lot with them, because I always said, one, most of you will be talking from the angle of young people going to the job market, but I've had a little bit of experience with recruiting people, so I can also talk from the angle of people trying to recruit from the job market. But also, it's not long ago that I left school, so I know about our educational system, the recent one, and the curriculum we have. So just so we dive into it now, first I want to give some stats, right? Because I think some of these stats are interesting. Like UNESCO statistics tells us that Cameroon in 2018 for adults aged 15 years and above was 75% literacy rate. The primary gross enrollment ratio in Cameroon was 98.6% in 2018, indicating that almost all primary school age children were enrolled in primary school. Because I think primary school normally is supposed to be free. Yeah. Then we also have at secondary gross enrollment ratio was much lower at 47.6. I think that's where they lose a lot of people. And I was saying that I think it's not because people don't go to secondary school, but many people don't complete. So they are not counted in the statistics of secondary school enrollment. Yes. That's why it drops to 47 from 98. And I think also it becomes a little more expensive, the school, the books and all of that.
Yes.
So generally, the literacy rate in Cameroon is 76.8, putting everything together. Now, an interesting part is it's more higher for males. For males, it's 82.4, which is close to the general. But for ladies, it's 71.5. So it's even more than 10% difference between males and females. So first, I want us to just discuss on that. Why do we think that females have a lower literacy rate? I mean, significant. 10% or 11% is significant. So why do females have a lower literacy rate than guys? Before we are going to dive into the problems of the educational system. Yeah.
Okay.
Shall we go first?
For me, I think females will have a lower educational system rate than guys, because firstly, I'll talk of, I think it's something historical, generational something.
Yeah.
I think we are still holding on to that perspective or that view that women are seen as their place belongs in maybe at the home or in the kitchen, and there are many people who still believe that they don't need to have a certain level of education, and rightly so, because generally the patriarchy, I've always had I've always been of the opinion that women enjoy the patriarchy even more than men. I've always been of that opinion. Because the patriarchy is there to protect, to provide, to serve. So while the patriarchy always knows that it's the men that have to go to a certain level of educational and social status so as to be formidable, they do not put that pressure or that responsibility of formidability on a woman or a girl. Because they already know that, like in our society, African society, they know that you marry, your man will take care of you and probably your family. So I think that is where it stems from already, and it starts building a line that everybody like starts following, and they don't feel that need to level.
But I think some feminists may attack you now in the comment section. But if we're being honest, he's not talking about, because the feminists will say, no, we went to school or we don't want to be in the kitchen. We're talking about the majority. To be honest,
what's happening.
The people who are most against feminists is majority of women who are comfortable in the patriarchal society.
Exactly.
They are against feminists, saying that leave us in our back row. So if what he's saying is not saying that all women enjoy it. No, those who are definitely kicking against it, those who are feminists and doing all those things, definitely don't enjoy it. But the large majority of women support and condone this system. And when we're having the conversation with the girls, it started with their mothers in the house telling them that girls should be in the kitchen. You don't need to work too much, don't achieve too much in my scammet or marrying you and all of those things. So people should not look at it from the angle that he's saying that all women. No, we're never talking about all here, but the majority of women, if the whole patriarchal system even stands, is because a large majority of women still condone with that system, and they facilitate or enable it.
An ambassador, for the feminists that want to comment or not, I will say it overtly, if you want to comment or not. Patriarchy is enjoyed more by women than men, and normally in a general society, the exceptions do not negate the general rule. And if you go also ahead and say, let me say, you look at things from the view of okay, men will provide. The women will be there. Normally they will do many things. But generally, from even when things get real, when things get like real, everybody will know their place. Everybody will know what they're doing. Like I always use the example of the war in Ukraine. I mean, Ukraine has feminists. You get. But when the war broke out and they said every man of 18 and above goes to the war front, and women, no feminist stood and opened their breast in protest that
we want to go to war.
You want to go to war? No.
The feminists when it favors them.
Exactly.
I always say
you cannot eat your cake and have it.
Yeah.
All of us, we have our own roles to play. We cannot eat your cake and have it. So
because there are men who will not want to go to war, but he does not have a choice.
Exactly.
They get arrested, people get locked up because they don't go to war. So
that's it.
It should go both ways. So anyway, what do you think about the disparity in percentage of literacy rate for men and women?
I think I'll not say something so different from what they've said. Beginning from the girls and what he said, literally said what I had in my mind. For example, like what you're saying, I mean, sometimes women are, what do I say? Their achievements hide behind the man. Well, I think that's the only exception I'll say. Like, sometimes the woman works so hard because she's married. It feels like the man did it for her. Have you ever walked around and then you see a successful girl? The first thing that comes into your mind is like, she must have a nice man.
No, not all the time. No, I'm saying all the time. When you see a girl driving a fly car, like, husband is surely really rich.
I know this woman who was selling tomato in the market. So I had this event to MC. Once I was done emceeing the event, and then I stepped out. She was in her job. She was in a big jeep. I'm like, okay. And soon I like Pangotoso. And the first thing in my mind, you don't get some fine man. You understand? So now women start feeling like what now it goes to what he said. Why do I need to work so hard? When there is a man,
somebody will come and save me from this.
You get and then sometimes like what the girl said, maybe pregnancy.
Those things are.
Truth is teenage pregnancy. It's they say the ones we don't want are the ones that easily come. Like people who are married will have sex 1 million times and then the child will not come. And then they will just have one night stand and then sweet. So
no, but there's a high reason for that to jump in, right? The married women most of the time have experience in some of those sexual activities. They know about their period, they control pills. But you is going there with your innocent mind and then not knowing the control. You don't take all the precautions there. So most of the time there's a correlation between those things.
A lot of these things, like once if a girl gets pregnant right now, the man keeps on going to school. But maybe after about 4 or 5 months.
You know that's not so fair though.
It's not fair.
I think that's one school where they said both of them should be suspended if the guy who impregnated her and
but in cases where they choose, the school can still choose not to suspend them.
In most cases they don't.
For example, the girl can be in a different school, the boy is in a different school. So maybe the girls get pregnant.
The educational system, they should go and report the boy that I'm just saying, but it does not happen like that.
But the issue is at the end of the day, I think everything is a tit for tat. You get, because at the end of the day, I've seen many situations, because I'm the legal profession, so I've seen many situations where the girl gets pregnant, and after that, it is not really the onus of taking care of that child and her. It's not on her. The boy, and if you don't do it, they'll take it to social welfare and they'll force you. So the boy now, if you tell the boy now that don't go to school,
how they going to take care of that child?
You are like.
So that's one thing. True. So
but
I think the thing now is, but now the boy, even so, let's say the boy is not penalized that way, and then he gets opportunity. After 5 months, that girl starts shying away from school. And trust me, after many girls give birth, the concept of school in one
survival.
Like once her only thing, I get my picking will look at them. I have my children to look after. So the survival mentality steps in that.
And at times to shame because people shame them that she has had a child. And all of that,
so all those things. And another thing is that women are prone to a lot of, I don't know how to put it, disasters, or prone to, like you see, check out
vulnerable.
There's women are very vulnerable. So you get to see that most times. The incidents you hear on the road of kidnapping, someone that assaulted, those weaker. So sometimes a man saying that, okay, now you don't reach a certain age where I don't feel they look you all through. So I prefer that you stay at home with us. You protect you that way. So let your brothers go to school. Maybe they can take care of themselves, because if you meet danger, you can take care of it. So you stay at home.
That was one
where you know how to read and write. A lot of women just their parents in school just know how to read and write. Just know how to read and write. And that's
okay. With that being said, now let's dive into our conversation of today, which is, so what are the issues you guys have with the educational system?
For me, I will first start.
Why you say that it does not meet the needs of the job market?
I said I was on the fence because I will first ask the question, what is the job market? That is it. Because what I'm saying is, if we see a system that we're in, our job market even is not a defined something that we will even say there's a defined something we do. So I would say I would understand an educational system like this because there is so much speculation about our lives. Like
nothing is certain.
Nothing is like, there's a higher probability that there are things that will happen to you here that might not happen to you in a developed world. You get, if you have a child that you have to let me say they want the child to become a doctor, and they see from the start that the child's already been leaning towards that way, maybe the parents now start budgeting for his college fees and all of that. Now in our system there's a high probability that you might, our death rate is even higher, very higher, very higher. You might even be going to school and one time your father dies of malaria, typhoid. You understand?
Things change.
It's things like that happen. So there is a high speculation over everything. So I think that is why they say, okay, do something general. When you now finish from school, you start now trying to look for your feet. But now the issue is, in the long run, it becomes problematic. It becomes problematic because to be good at what you do, you have to have experience, you have to have focus on a certain thing. If you don't have it, it will be a problem for you. So those are the things. So that's why I say I sit on the fence. Because at a certain angle, you would see that though the educational system is because of what we find ourselves in. And it shouldn't be like that, but it is because that is it. So it has to, from below, we have to start working on different things and proposing different solutions for this.
No, so we're going to come to the solution part when we have the mixed conversation. So, but first, for you, what do you think? You are on the fence.
Too. So what I will say is, first off, our job market, like he said, it's vast. Sometimes there's just so much out there to do. And sometimes if you cannot find yourself getting into what somebody has started, you can start yours. Understand? Okay, fine. Now I think when it comes to our educational system, trust me, a lot of us complain most times that we learn a lot of things that are irrelevant. But guess what? At the end of the day, it's not irrelevant. Now imagine a child that grows up and then gets into business. I mean, keep studying, only focus on being a doctor till the end. That child lose guard of other things that concerns life.
Exactly.
You get. So now that child now gets into the business field and is a very bad doctor when it comes to making business decisions. Because at the end of the day, we are all trying to make money because what we're focusing on is the job market, which job involves you more income coming in.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, this child now, who is a doctor, automatically becomes a very bad businessman in making money out of. We are out to save like that. Okay, same thing. Now you get a guy who studied his whole life. He studied business, and then there's a day he's sick, and then there's nobody to attend to him. He knows nothing about the medicine field.
Yeah.
You get, and he's lost. He knows not how they call. So now you see that our education system prepares us for the unforeseen circumstances.
Yeah.
You get. Now I studied biology, I studied economics, I studied physics. Now you can meet me. I will explain something for you on biology. Now, I know how the human body looks like. I know how some things function.
But when we have some, I remember when we discussed with the girls, they were like, "We learn too much of general things, right?" I get your angle, which you said is good. I remember like when I met friends from out there, people from America, Europe. When we met, they felt like we from Africa are too intelligent. Yes.
Because they were lost.
But also, they make more money because they are focused on what they are doing. Yeah. They become specialists. So my own idea is we should not scrap off completely our educational system, but let's see how we can complement and improve upon it. Yeah, I'll go into more details when we are talking mix and talking solutions.
That's where now we talk about specification. That's where it comes in. Now you see that we from the junior level, from the primary level, secondary level, it's a general, let's just say basic knowledge of. They don't really teach you everything, but the child that child starts getting to Form 4. Yeah. Now we expect you to know that we have taught you everything. Now you are grown up enough to know where you fall. Yeah. By the age of 14, an average child should be 15 years old or 14 years old. I remember when I entered Form 4, I was around 14 years old. Yeah. And so you should, by 14, you should start knowing that, okay, fine, I find myself comfortable in this field. I've known I always wanted to be a lawyer from childhood. Yeah. Like nobody had to tell me, I'd already known. So, but when I began learning a lot, I was a very good chemistry student. I was a very good math student. Yeah. So, but those were not what I had interest in. Though I was good at it, but there were other things that I thought I was better at.
I think that's also one of the advantages.
Yes, those. But I feel like we're also limited though. Like me, I wanted to do my show business and my kind of things. Yeah. There's no course on show business without a curriculum.
But I think now we're getting out to university now. That's a specification internet that have introduced courses like performance, PVA, performance visual.
But that's now I think because like when we were growing up, I remember even things like commercials was not there. It was either arts or science. And then the sad part was those who were in science were all usually the smarter people, so they had higher points. Yeah. UB back, that's one of the reasons why I even had to leave Cameroon, because UB back in the days will say, I think things like accounting and management, you need to have, I think it was 10 points or something.
Yeah, side leaving points.
Those who have done their science have the 12 and 20 points. They come all and flood management. But we have done economics and the rest. We don't have those kind of points. But now they find the same thing in management and accounting because it was demanded back in the days. And so we all had to move out because we could not. So I think we are limited at times in our options based on what the curriculum is offering.
Yeah, and that is why I also talked about the system as a whole. Because when we talk, even the system to an extent, because that general knowledge, I think general knowledge in itself is very important because you'd learn, and if you are very vigilant, you'd understand the mistakes that have been made before, like history. Like my father and my mom biology teachers. Yes, true and true. Everyone in my family, science. I reached Form 4. My father knew I was doing science even from 5. Yeah. On the day he came on the notice board doing visiting Sunday, came and saw history, this literature. He was like, "Hey." I said that's it, and I was doing well there because even though I found history, literature very fascinating. Yeah. It was like when I read about Yongu Foncha, this one, that one, and I felt like, why was this people? This dumb. When I read about slave trade and all, I will not tell you like I cannot blame whites for slave trade.
That's another podcast.
Not me. Before they decide I'm just telling you. No, I'm just telling you because there's a role that blacks played in the slave trade. It was very, very bad.
Of course.
You read about Oyo, Fante, Dahomey.
Even before the whites came, we had
You understand? You understand that from there you still understand that human beings. There's a high probability that human beings will sell you for something. Even from the Bible, you see Judas. Something small
brothers sold you
understand? So that's why I started to understand that those things are very important to learn that.
So I think for those watching, now we get to understand that fine, our system has failed us to a certain extent. Although they're trying to make amends by creating other fields and then trying to make other things work. Now, one of my policy is if you don't find it, create it.
Anyway, I think you are going already to the solutions. I told the girls like let's all keep the solutions for the mixed conversation. So for me, we are already rounding towards the end. I want people to pick up these conversations in the comment sections and back at home. We are going to watch the mixed podcast where we are going to have now solutions. We have mentioned problems. And for me, there's one general comment I want to make in regards to the problems of our educational system. I think education, like the word educare, which I think is a Latin word, which means to bring out or to make you bring what is in you. But our educational system does not facilitate us bringing out what is in us. It's instead putting things into you and they're asking you to regurgitate. It's almost like 1 plus 1 is 2. What is 1 plus 1? 1 plus 1 is 2. Yes. It's not almost like this is 1, this is 1. What do you think it becomes? It does not want you to bring, it does not encourage us bringing out things. And the second problem with that is, hence, we are not solving our own problems. We have the educational system which is like, what are the problems in Africa? Malaria, this, that, hunger. Hence, a majority of people should be studying agriculture. A majority of people should be studying health.
For developing
to meet our needs.
The whole of Africa is like a developing.
Our educational system is training people in philosophy. When you are hungry, what thinking do you want to think in philosophy? In physics, we are learning very theoretical things where we need more practical things in Africa. So I think our educational system, we cannot scrape it off completely, but I think we should identify a means to complement it with certain aspects which can make it more related to our problems.
Because many people have found themselves in jobs that they're like, I did LinkedIn and then I've even worked Cameroon.
Yes.
Because they know that they cannot apply it here. I did learn for job, find my place, come on, go out.
So guys, with that being said, we'll pick up the solutions in the final podcast, and as usual I just say you guys should like, subscribe, share, activate it in the comment section, but most importantly pick up these conversations back at home. Our intention is to, as Tupac said, I might not be the change, but I hope that my music sparks the change in the people who are going to bring about the change. I'm paraphrasing, I'm not quoting word verbatim. So that's the whole idea. So we just intend that these conversations can spark conversations down the line here. So guys, see you shortly. Like, subscribe, share.